To do is click go live because whether you're ready or not, you have to be kind of ready to go. So this is Donnie Gupton. We are back with another live episode of the Relevant Recruiter Show. Today it's just going to be me. Today we're going to be talking about the power of content. We're going to talk about how you can attract new clients to your recruiting business by using the power of content. And as we wait for people to get on here, go in the comments and let me know if you can hear me. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up as we dive in here today. So before we get started into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, I want to just kind of start with why, as a recruiter, should you consider pulling some time around some other activities to actually create content, okay? And the first reason why is because there's a starving crowd out there. This might be the most important reason. You have a starving audience within your niche that is waiting for somebody like you to go out and serve them and help them out, okay? The next thing that's really powerful about content is it's always working for you. So as you go out and you create this post, we'll use this live video, for example. There's going to be only a handful of people that are going to watch this video with me here live. But then this video will go on the algorithm. This video will work for me as I go out and run other aspects of my business. That creates leverage for me that I basically have a full-time salesperson going out there, which happens to be me, all on its own, okay? And that's something that you can create for yourself as well, okay? The third thing and another thing that's really critically important is your very best clients will come from content. And here's why. When you're creating content, allows you to really become the authority, allows you to become the subject matter expert. And, imagine, if you will, if somebody's been following you for a while and you're adding value to them, you're sharing with them your belief, you're sharing with them your process. Once they come and book on your calendar, they already know who you are, what you're about, how, what you do. It's a much more qualified sales call, and you're attracting people to you. And that's what good content should do. And that's what we're going to share with you today, is how to attract people. Because when I attract people, they're ideal to me because they already like me. They already believe in me. They trust me. They know that I can do the job. And this is exactly what we're able to generate and create for our clients as well. Okay, now here's a couple of things we don't want to be doing. Here's what content isn't, okay? A good content strategy isn't always promoting yourself, okay? And this is where I think everybody wants to start, is they come out and they start creating, hey, here's why you need to work with me. Here's what it's like working with me. I, me, my, our is in all of the messaging. And it's not to say that there isn't a place for that. Of course you have to sell, but most people's content strategy is a constant promotional game of what your company does or what you do. And that's really not it. Okay. We're going to share exactly what you should be creating here in a minute. Okay. The other thing, the mistakes I see is people are only posting their jobs. So maybe people have started creating content, but they're only really getting to the point where they're posting their jobs. They're not doing anything else. Okay. And that's kind of like the most basic level of content creation, is posting jobs. And if you're just doing that, there's so much more out there for you. Okay. The other thing that you really don't want to do with your content is become inconsistent. Nobody's ever gotten and attracted clients or actually candidates from their content off of one post effort. Okay. I don't want to say nobody. Of course, those things can happen with right place, right time. Of course, you can get somebody. But if you're looking to make this to where you're consistently getting new clients, you need to be consistent. You need your market to allow. You need to give them a chance to know that you exist. You need to give them a chance to get to know you, trust you, believe in your system and your methodology. And right now I'm going to unlock exactly how you do that. Now, what I'm going to share with you right now is less about getting job orders, okay, and more about getting clients, because I think one of the biggest challenges that recruiters face in this industry is working these contingent jobs, competing against several other recruiters in the marketplace. And, instead of being a partner with a client, I don't care what the engagement is, whether it's retained, contingent, exclusive, that's all whatever. But I want to be partnered at the end of the day. I want to be partnered and valued by my client, because that way I'm ensured there's a better chance that I'm actually going to get paid for the work I'm doing. And I'm not priding myself being on busy. I'm priding myself on making an impact on these client organizations. And that's what this is going to show you how to do. So the very first element of all of this is knowing who your market is. If you don't know who your market is, if you don't know who your ideal client is, chances are your content's going to fall on deaf ears. And if you've already started this content journey and it's not working for you, this would be the first place out how you evaluate is who are you talking to? And do they know that you're talking to them? Do they know that you exist for them? So for you guys that are around here following me, I don't know if this is your first video with me or your 5th video with me or your 100th video with me. I do a lot of these, but most people know that if you are a boutique recruiting firm, that Donnie Gupton helps you implement an automated lead generation system. I speak to the pains and problems of this industry all the time. And that's the key with having the niche. That's the first step is the market, the niche, however we want to say that word, niche, so that we know who we're talking to. And here's the reason why. Because to really create effective content is you want to become the problem solver in the market, right? And in order to become the problem solver in the market, there's a big difference between you out there that runs an independent firm and Robert Half, right? And so when I'm speaking to my market, I'm speaking more to the pains and problems of independent recruiters or boutique agency recruiters, which usually have to do with time, which usually have to do with lack of a marketing budget because we're not Robert Half, which usually have to do with, how do I leverage myself, right? There's a lot of pain points that can come up that I can constantly talk about. Pain point of all I know how to do is cold call. Pain point of I get all my business from referrals, but I don't know where my next client's going to come from because I don't have a system in place. When I know my target market, then I can identify their pains for them. I can talk about their problems and I can then help solve them. So the first step, again, is knowing and understanding who your target market is so that you can then identify and become a problem solver for them. Think about it from your standpoint in the recruiting industry. And this is where it kind of can become challenging for some of you guys is because you can fill the role, you can do the job of recruiting an engineer for Apple and recruiting an engineer for John's mom and pop, right? But what Apple is struggling with and frustrated with in their hiring process is an apple and an orange to what that mom and pop shop is struggling with their hiring process. So it's not about stopping who you're going to actually deliver for. It's knowing very clearly who you want to deliver. And again, we're talking about attraction. I don't want to attract everybody. I want to attract a very specific client. Okay. And so that's why it's so important to know who it is, because the problems, the pains, the frustration of why they're not doing that is different between these different types of companies, right? And once I really find and hone in on what my sweet spot is, then I can really, identify those problems, and which brings us to the next step, create solutions for those problems. And some things that we'll work on with our content conversion system within the relevant recruiter method is, we work on different pillars. We work on different heaven, if you will, that our solutions provide. So if I were to come out and just say, hey, cold calling stinks, and are you tired of constantly being away from, your family? You're constantly tired of making all these outbound calls with a lack of effort, and then I just let it go. Well, there's no value out there. But if I say, hey, are you frustrated with cold calling? Are you tired of those countless hours, pounding the phone only to have, get voicemails at the end of the day and maybe connect with 1 or 2 people a week? Hey, the problem is you don't have an automated lead generation system in place that can bring consistent opportunities without you making a bunch of outbound calls, right? So now I'm here solving your problem and helping you identify what your problem is. And now what you're watching with me now is me giving you one of the solutions to your problem, which is being able to create organic content. So what types of problems do you think that your clients are going through, in a recruiting market like this? Because I want to be relevant to the current times, right? Well, it's drastically changing. It feels like it's changing every single month, right? Where, hey, a couple months ago, everybody was busy as heck. Now I'm starting to hear some rumors that things might be slowing down a little bit. So, and that's gonna be different market to market. So what is your market going through right now? How can you lead your market? How can you be the one that starts providing those solutions? Okay. And it's usually very easy to kind of have some pillars, a process or a methodology that you can market. Okay. Because that gives your market a chance to understand how you solve their problem for them. And it also gives you the clarity, which makes this really, really simple of what am I even going to create? Well, I can tell you that for me, it comes in really 5 buckets. Okay. You probably hear me talking a lot about standing out and differentiating yourself in the marketplace, the importance of a niche. We're talking about that on this specific training. I create individual stuff on that. We talk a lot about LinkedIn, how to leverage LinkedIn, how to create leads through LinkedIn, how to work around LinkedIn invites, create conversations on LinkedIn all day long. I can create content about that all day long. Here, this content specifically is about, or this training is specifically about content. Well, that's another one of my pillars. We call it the content conversion system. It's another pillar. So I know that I can come out and talk about creating content to get clients. The other pillar I tap into is, hey, LinkedIn's not enough. We need to show up on other platforms. We need to show up on phone. We need to show up on email. We need to show up in text message. We need to show up on YouTube, Facebook. And there's a process to get there. And then my 5th bucket is usually something motivational, inspirational, me challenging you because I am a coach. It makes it easy when I know exactly what my 5 pillars or buckets are. However you want to define that, I can go pull out of that, and that makes it easy. Okay. Now, the other things that we can incorporate into some of that are some of the personal flavor. Okay. So people can get to really truly know you and like you. Okay. But what you want to do is when I identify the problem, then I can create different pillars of solutions. And now I've got really good content and I'm doing it consistently. Okay. And that right there is how you're going to attract people to you. Okay. Now, the other thing that you can incorporate into your content game, as I mentioned, is the personal side of things. Now, personal isn't like, hey, I've got a really good, a really cute cat, I'm going to post that here on LinkedIn. It gets tiring, right? When we're seeing these meaningless posts go around. But there's ways that you can create personal posts and tell stories about that and still relate it back to your market. And so I can share, the type of dad I am, the types of sports, the things that really hobbies, things that I'm passionate about. So I can, again, connect with people, attract people. I love racing. I love football. I'll talk analogies around racing and football or baseball, sports in general, that might, correlate with some of my strategies, right? And so that's where you kind of incorporate the personal flavor. I've created a lot of stories about some of the things that my kids have overcome and how I've helped them overcome that and how some of those same principles would apply to just anybody, right? And so that's another content bucket that you can pull from is that personal part of it, okay? The other part, and one of the most crucial parts of this whole thing, and I think there's so much low-hanging fruit out here, and I see some questions come in, I'll pop over to that, is sharing your successes, sharing your wins, okay? This is what we refer to as social proof in the marketing world. I just call it proof, which is like, hey, I'm going to tell you guys very confidently, if you want to build your recruiting business and you want to do that through the power of online marketing, automation, personal branding, I'm the very best person in this industry to help you. What's going to make that more powerful, though, is when you head over to my YouTube channel and you see the 20+ testimonial videos. Or you don't even have to head over to the YouTube channels when you go search through the recommendations on my LinkedIn page. And you don't even have to search for the recommendations on the LinkedIn page because I put all of this as a part of my content strategy. I share my clients' wins. I share my clients' successes, not to boast, but so people can relate and see how what I'm doing, how it's making an impact on people. So do you have an offboarding process with every single client and candidate where you're trying to get their review of their experience working with you? Do you have case studies that you've built? Because this is really where you can make a huge connection with your audience and you can celebrate people and validate what it is that you're doing and the impact that you're having in the marketplace. Like I said, it's going to be, I can say it all day long, but it's going to be a lot more powerful when it comes, from somebody else's mouth. And even though somebody, you guys might be getting these testimonials, look, nobody's going to your LinkedIn recommendation page on a regular basis, but people are scrolling LinkedIn's feed every day, right? I might as well just start sharing this stuff I have. I've got testimonials on my website. Awesome. And nobody's going to your website. There's millions of websites that are sitting in cyberspace with zero traffic. Do you have a traffic plan to your website? Nobody's seeing these testimonials. Nobody's seeing your greatness. Use that as a part of your content strategy. The easy way to do this without seeming like you're bragging or anything like that is to celebrate the success of the client or the candidate. Celebrate their win in this entire process. People will be able to connect the dots, by doing it that way. And that's really how we have created a very simple strategy that allows for consistent content creation. And, ultimately we're focused on attracting people. Okay. And one of the last things I'll leave you with here is to be good at content. You have to stand for something. Okay. You can't play soft and you can't play safe with your content. You can, but you're not going to attract anybody by doing it that way. People want to work with leaders and people want to work with experts. And that's one of the biggest, value adds of creating a content strategy and implementing it consistently is you will become the authority in your market. But if you want to become the authority in your market, you need to act like it. You need to play on an edge. You need to have an opinion so that you can attract your tribe to you and get them wanting to work with you. All right. So those are the ways that you can really leverage content to get new clients. Again, know exactly who I'm creating this content for. Tap into their pains and problems, solve their problems, and create buckets of content that you can utilize. Create some personal content to build more meaningful personal connection with your audience, and then share proof with them. Okay. And one of the, kind of lower hanging fruit ways to create content is what's capturing everybody's attention right now. Go ahead and share your opinion on it, right? Not everything always needs to be some sort of business solution oriented content. We've already talked about the personal bucket, but it also might be just something that's going on in the world that you want to share your opinion on. Again, we want to do this consistently through time. That's how we are going to, generate the results and get consistent client attraction coming to us. And I can tell you what, if you can get this content strategy right, and it can be as simple as taking the conversations that you're having each day, the problems that you're solving on the conversations, the solutions that you're giving on the conversations, and just share it as a post on social media. It's the easiest way to start. It doesn't have to be hard. This can be actually very, very simple when you have the right plan and when you have the right clarity and you have the permission to be yourself and put yourself out there. Because like I said, if you can do this content thing, you're going to get more partnerships with clients. Your best clients are going to come from you. You're going to get inbound leads rather than everything being outbound hustle. And the inbound lead, if you haven't had an inbound phone call, it's a game changer because I'm in complete control now. I'm not trying to knock down somebody's door, capture their attention, and get the very, minuscule amount of information to go try to, fill that role. I can actually vet them out, see if they're a good client, see if our values align, see what their payment plans are, see what they, what their interviewing process is, see if all of these things align with me so that I'm not going to waste the time recruiting candidates that aren't going to want to work there. And I'm not going to waste time just working on any job in town, because when I do this right with content, I get more opportunities, and with more opportunities, I can fire my bad clients. So that's the power of being able to create content. And here's the thing, the good news about content is it's not going anywhere. And if you're not on board, you're already behind, but you can also get on board and play a little bit of catch up here. But if you're going to sit in the mindset that you don't need to create content, I guarantee you that your business will be irrelevant within the next couple of years. This is the way people are making their decisions now. Again, there's a starving audience online that is your people every day that is waiting for you to show up. So what kind of challenges IT companies face? Can you explain? Well, those challenges can be probably some of the same challenges you're having, finding the right IT talent. Now let's go a layer deeper. What is the lack of IT talent? What is that causing in that department? Are there projects behind? Right? So, if we're using a different example of sales, well, if you don't have a sales team, you can't bring your product to the market. That would be a huge pain, I would think. right? So you start to look at, what are the pains, what are the problems, what are the frustrations in hiring in general? But when we're looking at what the pain and the impact of that is on that organization or department, now I'm tapping into somebody's emotions, right? Now I'm tapping into, something bigger, and I'm relating with that person, that individual on the other end, and it's making them go, man, this person really understands me. In fact, they know more about this than I do. I want to talk to them. I want to see how they can help me solve this. I want to see how they can help my life be better. Okay. So when you're looking at it, hopefully that's helpful. I don't know that there's anything specific for an IT market. I think that's your job. And here's, if you want my honest opinion, if you don't know the problems of your market, how qualified are you to even actually be solving in hiring for people? You want to do this if you're really serious about your business. I spend all day long trying to figure out how I can help this industry. Okay. I listen to my clients in my program very intently so I can continue to try to solve their problems. For example, one of the things that I've just come out with recently is more of an outsourcing workshop. Why? Because I've been listening to recruiters over and over and over again about the frustrations they have about, hey, when I implement this, then I get frustrated about making this consistent. I don't want to hire a full-time marketer. I can't afford that. Oh, but I can hire somebody that's outsourced overseas. So I'm adapting to what my market needs. And there's a huge opportunity for you to be able to do the same by just understanding and digging into your market and living in that market every single day. And ultimately, I view myself as a problem solver in this industry. Okay, I'm trying to solve what I feel like is one of the biggest problems in the recruiting industry, which is being able to get qualified clients to your business without doing the traditional outbound hustle, which I think we can all agree with just isn't effective as it used to be anymore. Not saying it doesn't work, but it's not as effective. And if there's a new, easier way, then that would be the way I'd want to go to. And if you are in that spot right now and you want to look at, more effective ways to attract clients and candidates, then I've opened up some time on my calendar for the end of this week and into next week just to talk with you about your business and help you get clear on your target market, where you're at right now, where you want to go, how we can penetrate that market, how we can really maximize yourself in your business. And then we'll talk about how my specific relevant recruiter program can help you get there faster, because we've had several hundred people go through this program and literally change their life because they have the power to attract people to them. They have a system in place that helps with consistency in their business and their lead flow. Their time is leveraged so they can spend more time doing the things that they love, whether that be with their family or hunting or fishing or watching sports or crocheting, whatever it is. So if that's you, drop a comment below. If you don't want to drop a comment, send me a direct message and let's get on the phone. No pressure. I'm not here to sell you anything. I just want to see if there's a way I can help you. If we both feel like there's a fit, we'll talk about the program specifically. If not, I guarantee either way this call will be incredibly powerful, because you'll walk away with one of the most powerful things, and that is clarity on what your next action step is to build your recruiting business. So thank you guys for being here with me today. If you want to take advantage of that free strategy session, like I said, drop a comment, send me a direct message, and we'll see you on the other side. Talk soon.